Yeah.
We are live.
We are live.
Since there's nothing on TV tonight, I got the All-Star race playing in the background.
Oh, dear. We have, I can't think of that storage drawer.
Do we have like a slight problem going on here?
Well, can you hear me?
No, the stream's not coming up.
Stream's not coming up.
But then I wonder if I go to my YouTube on the computer, if it shows up. Yeah, like on my computer it's showing up.
Really?
Yeah. Let me go library, my channel. Let's see if this pops anything up. Yeah, see that popped up.
Come on. There we go. And there's the light.
I think I need a new chair.
Why is that?
This one is like, it's seen better days. Like the arms are breaking off of it. It won't stay up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
I've seen better days.
Good song.
Uh-huh.
I've seen better days.
So this guy's on Shipping Wars is towing a truck to Baja for the Baja race, and he's trying to get it
To BJ?
for the Baja. Yeah, BJ.
What the heck? Why isn't... Maybe I have to go on Wi-Fi real quick. I love being 3 minutes to showtime and this thing acting out.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, who do we got in here right now? Does anyone wrote in the chat yet? Tonight on the podcast featuring Ryan singing.
Ryan's thing, nice.
Because he's seen better days.
We all have seen better days. As it drops and falls. They only brought in $200 for that?
Because all of the stuff that went wrong.
All right. What's up, Patrick? How you doing?
What's up, Patrick? Oh, man, here we go. Another episode.
All right, you ready?
I am fully ready.
Let's get it.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I turn my media down.
I'm gonna let you turn your volume off first.
I just did. I'm like, hey, there's Patrick.
All right, you ready?
Go.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 28 of the Loose Lugs podcast. I am your host, AJ. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan.
What's happening, AJ? How is everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody's ready for the Memorial Day race weekend, I should say.
Yeah, man.
And boy,
best weekend in racing right here.
Exactly, yeah. And then I know I'm getting pumped up. Saturday night, we're going to do some dirt track racing up at Merritt Speedway. So Sarah and I are going to go up there to the dirt track, have some fun. Definitely looking forward to the weekend.
The old stomping grounds, huh?
Yes, it is.
So we had an interesting weekend this weekend.
That we did.
We're going to dive into it a little bit more, but I hope they keep this package for a few races, not all of them.
I would suggest a few races, yes, not all the mile and a half, but a few, yes. There were some things I liked about it. Like you said, we're going to dive into it deeper. But I did enjoy it. There was a couple things I didn't like, but we will dive into it later. But AJ, the Vegas Golden Knights.
The best story in sports.
It is. I do believe it is.
It's got to be the best story in sports. I mean,
I think it is.
The stat that I was seeing get flashed was this is the second time in all four major sports that an expansion team made the championship round, and the only other team was the St. Louis Blues back in 1960, and it was only because they were guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, which was crazy.
Yeah, so I can't even count that.
I can't either. So. But like I said, they've been playing great hockey. They're coming together as a team. Gerard Gallant should win Coach of the Year, in my opinion. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing out of his mind. He's made some great saves in that Winnipeg series. It's going to be a good series, and plus we got Game 7 tomorrow night. Caps and Lightning at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a fun one to watch for hockey fans out there.
Just hope it's a fun game.
I do too. I don't want it. Yeah, I don't want it to be a blowout. So
no, like it's going to be like a 2-1 game that maybe goes into overtime, tied at 1.
Oh yeah, and then there's something else I got to talk to you about.
What's that?
Booyah! Tied it at 2.
Now going back to the House of Horrors for Cleveland.
It is. I think it's going to come down to the 7 now. I think Golden State's going to take care of Houston here quickly. But I had to throw the LeBron jersey out. I just texted Sarah because we were live, and I'm like, go get the jersey. And she did. So thank you, honey.
Ryan, I love cockiness in sports.
I do too.
But the thing is, after last night, how badly the Celtics played to come back to be within 8 at one point in the 4th, I'm okay. It's okay coming back to Boston. And you know what?
Exactly.
If you win it tomorrow night, you go back to Cleveland. If you can't finish it up there, you get to go right back to Boston, where Cleveland has struggled immensely.
Yeah, Cleveland's Boston is 1-6 on the road this postseason. That's ouch. But hey, they're in it. They're in the East Finals, so they're doing something right.
So,
go ahead.
The Cavs had, I think it was 19 turnovers yesterday.
Yeah.
And the Celtics only got 12 points off of turnovers. And that's what killed them.
Yeah, that's not going to win you basketball games. You got to,
It was soft defense all game. And that's not normal for a Brad Stevens team.
No, not at all. I want to take the time. I'm doing it short. It's going to be short and sweet. Talked to Dad Saturday. Understood him. It was hard to understand him. But I talked to him a little bit Saturday, and that is about it on that front. There's been some personal shit going on right now. Don't want to get into it, but like I said, I did talk to him. He is doing good. He is back on the dialysis, so that's the only news right there.
But it's good that they've got him out of the ICU, right?
Yeah, he is out of the ICU, and he is in his own personal room.
Well, that's some good news right there.
Yeah, it is. It is. But there's, like I said, there's other issues at hand right now. So,
well,
dive in. So
all good thoughts out to you guys. And Tony just said win one game and y'all be okay. But if you lose Game 5, geez, I go, hey, I said Cavs in 6, and at this point I'm still sticking with it.
And I tell you what, Sarah and I on Saturday we went to it was Meet Your Best Friend Day out at the zoo. They had puppies, they had dogs, cats, kittens, all that. We ended up going out there. It was adoption. We didn't get anything. We didn't put any bid down for one, but there was a couple out there that were puppy that was going after my goatee, trying to bite my goatee and everything. And then Sunday night, we went to a wrestling promotion called Evolve Wrestling. That was 2 minutes down the street from us. So we ended up going to that Sunday night. Had a blast at it. One of the matches, AR Fox, and I forgot who the other guy was, but this guy had AR Fox has this entourage, kind of like the Rosebuds. And one of the guys looked like Roman Reigns Jr. Everybody's like, it's Roman Jr. It's Roman Jr. So we were all laughing at that. But these guys are in the corner, and AR Fox's opponent did a suicide dive over the turnbuckle. A plancha landed on him, and then he gets up. He's doing his thing, and AR Fox jumps. As he's jumping, he takes down what they have put up for the entrance ramp. And so the entrance ramp goes down. We're all going apeshit. We're like, entrance ramp. And then during another match, the entrance ramp goes down. Everybody starts chanting it again. It was a good show. It was a good old independent wrestling show. And yes, Corky.
That's a little inside joke right there.
On the line team playing hockey, the computer defenseman.
So, yeah. Ryan, myself, and Tony, who you see in the chat, for those that are watching on the YouTube stream, we play quite a bit of Xbox together, and we've been playing a bunch of the hockey online team play where you control your own player and you play hockey doing it. And we had a computer defenseman because we didn't have enough people to have a defenseman, and he kept turning the puck over, and Ryan, out of nowhere, just, come on, Corky!
Ryan had a couple during the All-Star race, so, and I was feeling pretty good Saturday, and I'm like, come on, Corky!
It was like, it was the laugh of the night after that.
I had you going, Tony was going. I don't think there was anybody else in the chat with us, but yeah, that was the funny episode of Saturday night.
Yeah, that was one of the funnier ones. But Ryan, we got some All-Star Weekend stuff to go over. Why don't we break it down here? All right. All right, so we are on the Gas and Go segment of the Loose Lugs podcast. This is where we recap the race weekend, all the events that happened. On Friday, we kicked it off with some NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Johnny Sauter, your winner, and very emotional afterwards.
That he was.
Race for the most part. It was awesome to see Sauter come through and be just so excited about it after he won, because they were talking about how he had never won here before, and it was a track he's always wanted to win at, which we already know what I think about that.
Exactly.
And just the excitement over the radio was crazy enough, but this is his third win of the season. Sauter's on a tear. He's kind of like on a Harvick tear a little bit.
Harvick tear in the Truck Series. And I know we're going to dive into it, but Kyle Busch, the boneheaded comments of the weekend.
Yeah. It's later on in the show, actually, because...
I know it is. It's funny. It really is. He's driving in a series that he's not fully a part of. Granted, yeah, I know he wants to try to make the racing better, but I know he wants to try to make the Truck Series more the entertaining series as it can be possible, which I think the Truck Series is very entertaining. I love their races. The length perfect for these races. He goes off by saying that my crew was basically and just went off. And it's like, relax. You're going for a Monster Energy Cup Series championship. You're not going for a Camping World Truck Series championship. Yes, you're going for the Owners' Championship, but there's no reason for him to go off like that.
No, and I believe the comments were along the lines of, truck's terrible, pit crew's doing nothing to help me out, you know, congratulations to the winner. And it, like the typical Kyle Busch mic flip walk off.
It was like when Austin Dillon won the Coca-Cola 600 last year. Picking his nose. And AJ is picking his nose. For those of you who are not watching live or live on the podcast, I think he did something like that.
He either did that or he ate it.
Oh, probably ate it. Or, oh man, I could have said I held my own there. Like,
I don't know, man. Like you said, you're racing for a Monster Energy Championship, Cup Series Championship, and you're going to come out into the minor leagues, the minor leagues of NASCAR until ARCA is officially taken over, I think next year or the year after. And you're going to really sit there and complain about not only the car or the truck and your pit crew, but these are all things that are yours. It's your truck. It's a KBM truck. And it's your pit crew that you hired on. So, I don't know how much of Kyle Busch's Truck Series pit crew is also his Cup pit crew. But to go off like that, come on. Show something.
We said it last weekend and a few weekends that it's the truck that's the guinea pig truck. Guess what that is? It's probably the guinea pig crew or the crew. They're changing the tires, gassing them up, doing everything like that. Like I said, I think it's the guinea pig. I mean, he wants the best. Relax, man.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
and it's like every time Kyle Busch does something to me, for me as a fan, that impresses me, he always goes out the next week and does something boneheaded that makes me take that a step back again. And I'm like, all right, he's still that guy.
Yeah, like what the Dale Jr. podcast, the incident with the young fan. And now to do this, it's like, this is why people don't like the guy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, though. And that's the thing, that I should be surprised when he does something like that. But I'm not surprised at all.
Neither am I.
No, you know, it's... I don't want to spend too much time digging in on this. It's the Truck Series. We're supposed to be talking about the younger guys, but instead we're talking about a Cup Series driver who is just a sore loser about everything.
Yeah, and he's taking the headlines away from the race that was, which was for the most part an entertaining race. Taking away from Johnny Sauter's win, the young guys showing themselves out there, how they're running. It's taken away from all that.
Yep. I couldn't agree
Next thing you know, Kyle Busch is going to be running ARCA.
You know, he's already racing it in the Snowball Derby and all that.
Oh, I know that. Or he's going to go try to win the Indy 500 next year.
Yeah, I'd like to see him pull the double. I'd like to see any guy try to pull the double.
I wouldn't mind it either. And speaking of Indy 500s, I know we're on the Truck Series right now. I didn't see if you had anything in here on the show sheet for it. But what am I got you do? Okay, never mind then. Edit. Do the. All right.
You can't edit it live though.
Yeah, no, we can't edit it live, but do the R2D2. So stage winners there. Let's get into this a little bit there, AJ, as I go off topic. Okay.
So John Hunter Nemechek, I thought, had a great run. He led I believe it was the second most laps, or Brett Moffitt had led the second most laps of this race. Both had great trucks, but it just, in the last stage, it seemed like it was just Sauter's night. No one was beating him.
No, they weren't. I know Crafton struggled a little bit, so, I mean, that guy I picked, so go figure.
Yeah, and I think at some point, and when we were recording here, our stream had cut out again.
Yep.
So I'm just sending out a tweet right now, just letting everyone know that we're back up.
Okay.
So, you know, you had a good weekend because I believe you picked Brett Moffitt, correct?
No, I picked Matt Crafton.
Oh, shoot. Did I win that? No, I think Crafton finished 6th or 7th.
Yeah. Who did you pick? I thought you picked Gilliland.
Todd Gilliland, who finished 10th.
Yeah, you won a lot. I think, hey, I won the weekend in the trucks. Woo!
Yeah, right?
I should do the big pass now. Holds that one arm up in the air. Yeehaw, let's go.
So, wow. All right. Your stage winners. Stage 1, Brett Moffitt. Stage 2, John Hunter Nemechek. And your race winner was Johnny Sauter, stage 3. Your top 5, Johnny Sauter, Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones, Brett Moffitt, and Ben Rhodes. Out of your notable finishers, 7th place, Parker Kligerman. 10th place, as we said, Todd Gilliland. And I didn't know how to pronounce this name, so I figured it'd be worth mentioning in here, because he finished 13th.
Okay.
13th place, Chris Eggleston? Edgleston?
Oh. All right.
I figured if I've never seen the name before, it'd be worth mentioning when they finish.
I mentioned him on the podcast. That's right.
So your standings following Charlotte: Johnny Sauter, Noah Gregson, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, Grant Infinger, Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen, and Justin Haley. Your next race will be in 2 weeks at Texas, June 8th on FS1.
Oh, it's a Friday night, June 8th?
It is.
That's right, because the weekend the IndyCar is in Texas. Yeah. That's when the trucks go down there, and that's the weekend of, what's going on that weekend? I wonder. That's right, it's MIS. I'm a little excited for that.
I was confused, too. If I had the schedule in front of me, I could have told you, but I didn't.
Yeah, because the Xfinity race, or Friday afternoon, you're going to have the ARCA race on, followed by the truck race. Saturday's going to be the Xfinity race, and then Sunday the Cup race. Then I'm going to get my new William Byron stuff.
Woohoo.
And maybe a Chase hat. Maybe a Chase hat.
Speaking of Chase hats, I'm trying to find that one that I keep seeing him wear on pit road and all that.
All right.
I can't find it anywhere. It's not like a NASCAR authentic version, so I think Under Armour makes it, and I checked Under Armour's website. I can't find it there either, so I'm just straight confused.
Me too.
I did put in here that the Xfinity Series next race is this Saturday at Charlotte, 1 o'clock p.m. on FS1.
It's the 300-miler too, isn't it?
Yeah, that it is.
Uh-huh.
So, getting into what was the All-Star weekend for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, we started on Friday with qualifying, and
which I'm surprised. I'm surprised that they got qualifying in with the rain that they had, and then all of it. I'm going through Facebook, and then on one of the NASCAR pages I'm on, they're getting ready to run qualifying. And I told Sarah, I'm like, Sarah, you got to watch how they qualify. They do 4 laps, and they have to make a mandatory pit stop, 4 tires, and go.
Yeah,
it's no speed limit. I love qualifying like that. I absolutely love it.
You couldn't do it every weekend because it's kind of one of those gimmicky things. It's perfect
exactly
for the All-Star weekend. And hey, if you wanted to do that for like the shootout, or I'm sorry, not the shootout, but the clash at the beginning of the season, like that'd be cool. Something like that.
Instead, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I don't know if you saw the Ricky Stenhouse qualifying effort. After he gets done out of pit road, he's going down pit road, getting out into the track. And there's a grade there. He goes right over that, and they show a slow motion as he gets up in the air. That was pretty insane. But yet it didn't slow him down. He got second and qualified second.
Larson had the same issue, not in qualifying, but during the All-Star race itself.
Yeah,
when he got bumped by Logano.
Right. Yep.
But, so the weekend starts with Matt Kenseth qualifying on the pole, which, for those that say there's no speed in that car, and it was all Trevor Bayne, well, now you put a driver like Matt Kenseth in there and you get a pole. I know it's in a gimmick qualifying, like we've been saying.
Yep.
But still, you have to have a fast car in order to do so.
But here's my only take. Here's my only negative reaction on it. What happened during the race? I mean, I understand, like you said, it's a gimmick with the restrictor plates being at Charlotte, this new aero package for Charlotte. I mean, it is what it is. It was cool to see him back on pole. He did get the biggest ovation, minus Chase, for the fan vote. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this one right now. So but let's get into it now then. My thoughts on the restrictor plate this weekend was it kept the cars packed together. We still had 7. There we go. Yeah, you were talking about there was a lot of pass and there was a little separation. There wasn't a lot of separation though, because the guy could catch him.
No, and it's almost like how we were doing at Daytona and Talladega. You lag off a little bit, you get the run, you get the bump from the person behind you, and it just jolts you forward. Twice the speed of the guy in front of you, it seems, sometimes. Another thing I don't like with the 1.5 is it just seems like they're moving so slow.
Oh, it did. It seemed like
it's like you're watching something on Interstate 75.
Sweet. I do faster than that on Interstate 75.
Well, I mean, they were doing faster than that. I think that. I saw when they were running on their own, they were running about 160, 165.
Normally, they're doing almost 200 miles an hour going into turn 1 at Charlotte.
Exactly. But if they can tweak this a little bit, it could be some of the best racing we've seen in a while.
I have to agree. Maybe something with the restrictor plate itself. Don't use the same size restrictor plate that you're using at Daytona and Talladega. Test it during the off season.
I personally was a fan of it, and I don't know about yourself, but the All Turns No Brakes podcast did a thing yesterday called NASCAR Talk. They had 2 different time set and the day to ask viewers submitted questions to their followers on Twitter. And my question, well, our questions, because both of ours were included in there, as I'm trying to find it.
Uh-huh.
I gotta keep scrolling through to find it.
As you do that, AJ, I'll give you my take on it. I enjoyed it. It seemed to me like this year at Daytona and Talladega so far, like the bottom lane has been the lane to go. During the All-Star race, it was the outside lane, which made it cool. I loved it that like AJ Allmendinger in that open used the outside, and I'm just like, wow, that's the way to go. And minus him hitting the wall, he had a great car. Why can't they do it every week, though? That's the only thing.
Yeah, I agreed with you there.
So did you find the question?
I did. My question was, is what we saw in the All-Star race a good preview to what we could see at other tracks with the restrictor plate?
All right.
And answers I got, one was from Patrick, who said if they decide to run the packages at other mile-and-a-half tracks, the rest of the schedule, yes, but we'll see. Ryan Goodrum said, it looks promising, but does the lack of practice on the track play a role as well? And that's the sad part. I think it was Saturday they were running practice.
Yeah.
And the cameras cut before practice was over. Well, in that last 5 minutes of practice, it was pack racing. And the viewer missed it.
Yeah, they had baseball on it or something like that, the 1 o'clock baseball game.
So they only had a small amount of time to practice anyway to begin with. That was I thought by Ryan was a very solid answer. You know, we need more practice with something like this.
That we do.
Mick Rose said longest run was 30 laps and no points on the line. Need a larger sample size. Good point. Only if they use the same duck package, otherwise it'll be just like the same old restrictor plate racing, which I saw was a common negative this weekend that people were saying.
I know there was a... Go ahead.
I'll just continue through these really quickly.
Go ahead.
Kenneth W. Lee Jr. said, I think it will be interesting to see where they build from here. I don't want plate racing at every track. They've had a package that was good at mile-and-a-half tracks before, so I hope they do it again. Kobe Labmuth said, I think it depends on the track. This package may work better some tracks compared to others. Only time will tell. Bill Steinbach said, other mile-and-a-half tracks, I believe it would work. And J.D. Cardwell said, would be a great idea to definitely try it out on the other mile-and-a-halves and Indy. See, I think Indy is the key there. You try it there first.
Yep. What other track would you try it at?
Other than Indy?
Other than Indy, yes.
You know, going through some of the tracks, I like to see it at Michigan.
I wouldn't mind seeing it there, but...
They're already running super speedway speeds.
Yeah, exactly. They're going 220 almost.
So, you put it in
or 210, I should say, excuse me.
You put it in a place like that, and you get pack racing at a mile-and-a-half track like MIS.
That'd be fun. I'd be for it. Now, I'd like to see it at Kansas, Kentucky, those tracks right there. Check that out right there. Texas,
You know, ironically enough, Ryan, your question was also put on here by Alternative Brakes. And they had said, the question was, what tracks would restrictor plate make sense for a Cup points paying race? And just looking through the, excuse me, Pocono, Kentucky, Michigan, Kentucky, and Indy were the tracks that were rattled off.
Not bad.
So, right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I know they're gonna think about it. I know they're already thinking about it because most of the reviews I saw were positive. There's a few negative here or there, but the majority of them were positive reviews. I think NASCAR is strongly taking it under advisement right now, and I guarantee you within a couple of weeks they may say, hey, we're going to do it next year at a couple of these mile-and-a-half not playoffs at first and then work it into the playoffs.
I'd never see them putting it in the playoffs.
You never see them putting it in the playoffs. Honestly, if they want all these mile and a halves in the playoffs, you have to do it.
I think I think the answer to the playoffs is better scheduling.
Well, that too.
So, Ryan, getting into the Open, we had the Open on Saturday before everything kicked off. It was our first real look as a viewer of the new rules package, and I must say, the racing was awesome. I thought the Open was better than the race. The actual
I did too.
Itself.
I did too. And not to mention it, how cool was it to see the 88 take a stage win again?
Took a stage win and ended up in the wall in the All-Star race.
Unfortunately, but I mean, it was cool to see him up there. I mean, showing you the kids got talent to do that. They just got to get the Hendrick cars dialed in.
Yeah, and this weekend was kind of a step in the right direction. I know it's a different rules package, and it's not one that we're using all season long, but it was good to see Johnson and Chase run up there, and Bowman winning a stage.
Yes, exactly. Byron taking 2 tires again. Shocking.
Patrick agrees with you, by the way. 8 mile and a half NASCAR could use that all-star package on a few.
Thank you.
I just think that the answer to the playoff part of it is you need to balance out mile and a halves and short tracks, and then Talladega in there as well.
Yeah,
I don't think there's enough short tracks in it.
No, there's not. There needs to be more short tracks in it.
We're finally getting a road course this year.
That I'm interested to see. I'm glad that they have updated the Roval now, because I think it was Allmendinger or Kurt Busch, one of the two said if they had the original layout, they were going 40 miles an hour. Nobody wants to see that. That's why they did.
I still don't understand that first turn.
Oh, I don't either.
I think it's actually the second turn, where it's just like a 90-degree angle. Just.
Yep, there you go. I don't like the fact that they're going on the quarter midget track at all during that. I'd still have them do the quad shape as they do normally, then go into one and then do out like that. So, because I think that's where most of the action is going to be at Calamity Corner.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You said Eric Almirola. Speaking of him, he had a tough break because I thought his car was the absolute best one in the whole Open. All 3 stages, he had the best car, besides Allmendinger.
Oh, yeah.
And both were very impressive.
Allmendinger's car came into him late second stage or mid second stages when his car finally started to come in, when he went to the high lane, and man, he had a run.
Yeah, he did.
He almost he got up front and almost in the All-Star race itself until he brushed the wall, and that was the end of his night.
This race had it all. It had pit strategy. It had close racing. It had passing. It had the interest of the fan, I thought.
Yes, it did.
Just because it was something new that we've never seen before, and it worked really well. And Alex Bowman winning the first stage of it was great to see, because he fell back a little bit to start the stage, and it was like in 10 laps he was already back up to second.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, the Open was the better race. It had everything side by side, bumping and banging off each other. It was good, hard racing. I enjoyed it.
It set up runs real well, and I thought it would. Bowman set up the runs real well, and I thought it would benefit him in the All-Star race. Unfortunately, it didn't, because he blew a tire in the All-Star race, but. Another guy that we haven't talked much about this year, Daniel Suarez, who had a great second stage to that, winning the second stage to transfer over. And Suarez, it was like if you were aggressive and treated this almost like a short track, you were golden.
Yeah, what I found funny too is that after the stages, they had to check the tires to make sure the lugs were tightened.
The lugs were tightened?
The lugs. Lugs. Well, I meant to say, like, loose
It's
lugs.
live.
It's live, that's right. But yeah, I
was
just...
going to say, did I lose your train of thought?
Yeah, a little bit. No, we're so exciting that Sarah's passed out in the chair right now.
Oh, that's great. Nice to know where Joe's asleep right now.
Yeah, no, man. It's Loose Lugs podcast in A form tonight.
So we already said that Almond Dingaling got the stage win
The
to
third.
move on. And this is the part that irritated me most of the night. Even during
What's
the All-Star
that?
race. Chase Elliott had to get in on a fan vote.
Yep.
He struggles.
And you know what
And he had one of the better cars.
I figured he was going to take the first stage.
Starting up front, you would think so.
Yeah.
But
And then it was funny too in the Bubba Wallace interview. I laughed at Bubba's interview. He's like, I knew I had to win, so that's why we gambled with the 2 tires, especially with the 10-lap shootout. We almost had it, but I knew I wasn't going to be getting past Chase with that fan vote.
no,
And
Bubba ran a great race.
Oh, he should have won that final stage, but like we both said, nothing. Allmendinger had one of the best cars out of both races.
Once Allmendinger made that pass for the lead, it was like, yeah, he got this one. So there's your field set now for the All-Star race. So let's get into the All-Star race, and I'm going to blow it all here. I'm going to spoil it all. Can Harvick just lose already?
I thought he'd lost. Oh man!
And another. Go ahead.
It just shows you that he's got all the mojo in the world going for him right now.
This isn't even a points-paying race. And he's just kicking ass. I think he led 30-something laps at 93. Are you serious?
Yeah, I did like how they broke down the segments 20, 30, 20, 10. I enjoyed that. That was great.
If the segments don't mean anything, why are we breaking it up like this?
That was my only thing with it. But I did like it because every time there was the segment was done, they were coming to pit road. They were getting 4 tires and fuel and adjustments and getting back out there. I thought it made the racing better. I mean, obviously the new package made it better too. All in all, I thought it was a great evening. All around, I thought it was a great evening. You remember the year, and I was telling Sarah about this, that they had it broken down into these segments. Jimmy Johnson won the very first segment. After he won that segment, he went to the back because he was going to start up front on the last segment. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember Greg Olson was in the booth with Fox. And he's like, what the hell is going on here? NASCAR didn't even know what was going on. I remember because Keselowski came on and was like, what the hell was that? He won one stage. He comes back and won the All-Star race for $1 million or however much he won that night. I don't know.
This was one of the better All-Star races, I think, in the last 5-6 years, easily.
I thought so. I thought so too.
And you know what? If they want to toy with the rule package, because I know last year they had the 2 different tires that you could run, and any combination you wanted.
They had that this year as well.
They didn't have it this year.
I thought they did.
No, this was the year.
I thought they did. I thought the radio was set. Okay, I got you.
But regardless, if you want to try something new every year, I mean, maybe next year we can have the no window bracket rule. Dent in those windows as far as you want.
Exactly. Run on 2 tires if you want to.
Yeah, make a tripod out of your car.
You can do something.
Drive the pace.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun right there. But like I said, overall I thought the race itself was good. Harvick obviously had the best car. I thought Truex had one of the better cars too.
Yeah, getting into that, it was a rough break for Bowman coming into here, blowing a tire like we mentioned before. But it was interesting to see a full pack now under the new rules package. Take the track. And full, in a sense, it was half full, but you kind of got an idea for what to expect. And they didn't get spread out.
No, not at all.
Anytime they did, they bunched back up.
Exactly.
So I thought it worked. I thought for a race that's non-points paying that would make most tune out, I thought it made people tune in and be more entertained by it.
My only issue is I think it was the first one. I think Eric Jones was leading when Bowman got around him. He got up to him. I'm like, well, I hope that they're going to be able to pass. And then they finally did, like you said, did the leading back, then get the momentum and go for it. I'm all for that. There was some great blocking as well. So
you were talking about people getting runs. The person giving people the runs had to have been Joey Logano. Oh,
Logano by far. Him and Allmendinger was doing it all night too.
And then Keselowski gets in the lead, and it's almost like he's running it at Talladega or Daytona. He's trying to get like everybody single file.
Yep.
And they had asked, I don't know if they asked Joey Meyer or another spotter, is it harder to spot here, or is it harder to spot Daytona or Talladega? And he said, by far here, referring to Charlotte.
I thought it was Eric Jones's spotter.
Maybe that's what it was. I was in the lead when it happened. That's where I thought of Joey Meyer. But, you can see it because it's so tight. You don't have as much time to think,
Daytona and Talladega, you got that super stretches and all that, and Charlotte, you only got that mile and a half to do, that short straightaway and the back stretch. Yeah.
How about the battle of Daniel Suarez and Kevin Harvick towards the end of stage 3, was it? Was it stage 3?
Yeah. I know Hamlin wasn't impressed with Suarez.
No, Hamlin and Suarez ended up getting together around the same time. I thought Logano and Kyle Larson got together.
Yep.
And once again, turmoil at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Shocking.
And it's like the second year where something like that happened, where they had to go through teammates and all that at Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know. Kyle was mad at Denny. Now Denny's mad at Suarez.
Since I have had my issues with FedEx today.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
AJ rant.
No.
Oh,
maybe when we get into your rant later.
Okay, all right.
But you all notice a common denominator there for someone in a team that's hasn't really been a team player for a while.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bash on Denny contest, but I'd rather keep Kyle, Suarez, and Jones before I keep Denny Hamlin.
Well, the only reason why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh yeah, of course, Kenseth. I think the only thing with Denny, though, I think he's going to be the next to hang him up just because of his injuries he's had. That wreck he had, the one especially the one at California, where he got out of the car and he looked at it, and all of a sudden he dropped up, pretty messed up.
Yeah, I remember where you're talking about. Wasn't it at Fontana?
Yeah, Auto Club.
Yeah, that was
California Auto Club.
When Stewart dropped, I'm gonna bust his ass.
Pretty much.
On Joey Logano after the water bottle throw.
Yeah, because it was Steve Burns that interviewed him. Which
what are you gonna do now, Tony?
He was like,
I'm gonna bust his ass. Thanks, Tony. Thank you.
Speaking of Steve Burns, did you watch any of the grid walk at all?
They had his son out there. I didn't see that.
Wow, does he look like the spitting image of his old man?
Oh, doesn't he though?
He's still, when he's interviewing drivers, he's got that, the stage, not really that stage fright, but the nerves are there. Like he's shaking the microphone as he's walking, but all the drivers are, hey, relax, man, it's all good.
The only time I had saw, because I missed the beginning portion of the grid walk, so the only time I saw him was at the end when they had Jimmy Johnson bring out the ring for that couple there to propose.
Yeah, I saw that, yep.
Hey, NASCAR giving back a little bit.
That's right.
Helping out.
Speaking of which, during the driver intros, I think this is the best driver intros of the year. Come out, the crew guys are coming out, they're throwing out, they're high-fiving everybody. because you got to think right before a race, man, them guys are getting the tires ready, checking their air guns, the pit guns, their stall itself. This is the time those guys can relax. It's not a points-paying race. We can come out here. We can goof off. That's what most of them guys do. It's awesome to see. No, he didn't get to come out.
If he doesn't win, it's the end of the world,
That's
how it should be in a way.
Exactly. Non-points event. Go out there, have fun with everybody.
Ryan, that's the thing with NASCAR, though, is when you go to a race, you can go up to any of these pit crew guys, when they're in the middle of, working before a race, and ask them questions.
Yeah.
They'll be more than happy to answer them for you and let you know what's going on and how they think the day's going to go.
It was so...
Can you do that? Can you do that to a Tom Brady, a LeBron James, during a game?
No.
Exactly. That's the one. It's like the one thing above all that I love about going to a NASCAR race.
It was cool. We went out there. It was the August race. It was the year they had the surfboard on the spoiler, and Kevin Harvick's guys are putting the lugs on the tires, and I think it was Jeff or myself asking. They were like, "Yeah, it's an adhesive that they use where it can in rain, high heat, extreme cold." And then they answered the questions and all that. I'm like, because I asked it to Jeff, but one of the guys heard me. Then he answered me. I bullshitted for him for a minute. Then we went down onto pit road itself, and we're at the first pit box, and Jimmy Johnson's crew chiefs or crew members are just sitting around. I'm like, hey, I got a question for you guys. They're like, shoot, man, go ahead. What's up? And I'm like, who makes a decision on where Jimmy pits? Is it Chad's or, this is when they can pick? And they're like, this is all on Chad right here. Jimmy's like, okay, I'll go with it. And, we talked to them for a few moments too, and they're pretty cool guys.
Yeah, everyone out there to me is like that. Like when me and my dad went in 2016, we were just rolling down pit road and just asking different members of different teams questions, and they stop right what they're doing, drop what they're doing. They come up, talk to you, how you doing, and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome. You can't get closer to any other sport.
Even if you're wearing another driver's, like you're wearing your chase stuff, and you go to Truex's pit crew, they'll answer your questions. And then my brother was working for a car dealership. One of the girls she works with, her boyfriend was head security out at MIS. And he was going to do the walkthrough, where all the drivers are and everything like that. I bumped into, I think it was David Reagan I bumped into. And I bump into him. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hey. I'm like, oh, it's David Reagan. I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Woo, Corky. Had my Corky moment. I bump into him, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. And I'm like, whoa, David. Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Reagan? He's like, no, call me David. I'm like, oh, hey, David. How's the car handle and everything? Oh, it's good. He's like, who are you here with? I'm like, I'm with the security. Oh, and they had a nickname for him and all that. Oh, he's a good dude. You're a good dude, man. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Good, best of luck today. Shook his hand. No autograph or anything like that. Talked to him, like I said, for a few moments. He went on his way. I went on my way.
Well, most down-to-earth individuals out there.
Yes, they are. I have seen, it was Rusty Wallace. It was an interview on ESPN, and he ripped the mic out of, I think it was Jerry Punch's hand. He starts talking into the microphone. That was a classic Rusty Wallace moment right there. And then I met him, and I asked him about that. I'm like, do you remember that? He was like, yeah, I was a little irritated that day. I'm like, yeah. It's all good, man. You're entitled to do that, especially being in a hot car like that. He's like, thank you, man.
Speaking of hot cars and some tempers after this one, we kind of had another little bit of a restrictor plate feel this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We had a big one.
That we did.
We had 6 cars collected in at Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Clint Boyer, Kurt and Kyle Busch, and then Ricky Stenhouse. And
Keselowski ended up with a lot of damage, surprisingly.
Yeah, and out of all the replays, I never saw where he got it from.
I didn't either. I think it was because Truex came up the track, and then I can't. It was.
I know he hit Boyer initially.
Yeah, and then it was Kurt or Kyle, I thought.
But I think Brad might have been right behind him.
Yeah.
In that scrum, you know. But hey, at least Newman didn't end up with a car on him this time.
Yep.
It's like a new record for him.
It is.
So, as we said, Harvick led 36 of 93 laps total. You know, and no points on the line, still dominates. Does anybody have an answer for this guy this year? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. Wait till the change in the rules package comes.
Yep. So, Kevin Harvick walking away with $1 million.
He's probably going to build a par 4 now in his backyard.
He's already got a little racetrack in his driveway.
Well, he's got that, and he's got the par 3 that's like Augusta number 12 in his backyard.
Oh, really?
It's insane. I'm like, are you serious?
It must be nice to have money.
It must be.
Your next race is this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. It's the greatest race weekend in all of sports, or in all of racing, I should say. Let's get on to some tire rub. We got some news this week, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Left side. Pull this left fender out, left side.
So as you can see on the live stream, I am wearing my Chase Elliott Hooters t-shirt. That is because GMS and Chase Elliott have announced that he will be driving the number 23 at Charlotte, and it's going to be the Hooters car. I know where my stance is on Cup drivers competing in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, but, you know, it's my driver. It's a sponsor that stayed with him since he was a rookie, so I'm going to stick with it.
It's going to be nice to see him back in the Xfinity Series.
You won't see me just going all crazy celebrating, though, on social media if he wins afterwards. You know, he's taken away points from a guy who's actually competing for that championship.
There he is.
So, and there's plenty of other guys that could have taken this ride. I saw Kaz Gralla got a ride this week from, I don't remember the race team, but I know that he got a ride this week.
Yeah, Kaz did get a ride. I was happy to see that.
But there's just so many other guys that are without a ride right now that could really be put in that ride.
Look at Roush and what they have going on right now with the 3 guys right now. You could put one of them in that car.
Well,
as a way. I know, but sign a one race. I don't know. It just
manufacturer would just hurt it.
Yeah, that's true, but it still grinds my gears.
Well, here's some interesting news, Ryan.
All right.
I read this today for the first time and had to put it in our show. Darlington is hosting a track drive on June 16th. $30 donation gets you 2 tickets to the Xfinity race there.
No kidding.
And you can drive your personal vehicle on the track.
I don't think my car would make it there, but Sarah's would.
You want to go take a lap around Darlington?
You want to go ride around Darlington?
But that's cool, because now when the Xfinity race comes by, Ryan, you can...
Yep.
You're going to see how big the grandstands are filled for an Xfinity race.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Of course.
I mean, I thought the $30 donation was worth it just getting your car on the track, but...
Oh, that'd be... I know a lot of tracks do that. I know MIS, they do a drive. They a canned food drive or... Yeah, a canned food drive or Toys for Tots.
Oh, and you get to take a lap around the track?
Yeah, you get to take a lap around the track. Unfortunately, there's no passing, but you have no idea how tempted I would be to get in there.
I'd be bummed out with a little Toyota Prius in front of me.
Yeah, get that. Give him a little bump drafting. Little bump drafting right there.
Yep. So, yesterday, President Donald Trump hosted Martin Truex Jr. for the Monster Energy Championship from last year, and he praised NASCAR all through his speech, which was very, very cool.
Did he talk about how they always stand up during the national anthem?
That was the very first thing he mentioned.
Because I didn't see it. I seen the picture on Facebook, and I'm not surprised. I mean, he's a champion. They're supposed to go to the White House. I know a lot of the Eagles players, I don't think they went. It is what it is. I'm glad he went. as a champion, it should be an honor and a privilege to go meet the president of the United States.
No matter who it is.
Yeah, exactly. No matter who it is. Granted, yeah, you may not agree. You may not agree with what he is saying or what he's doing. But as a champion, it's your honor and privilege to go there and meet the president.
Hey, did you see on Friday the William Byron, Jeff Gordon press conference?
I did, and am I going to get that car when it comes out? You better believe it.
So William Byron is driving the Rainbow Warrior car, and I had one issue with this, Ryan.
What's that?
Didn't
DuPont?
Gordon run the same car in his final year?
I do believe he did.
I mean, it's the same paint scheme. It's the same exact one.
Yeah,
with every decal except for the Liberty University.
Yeah, and William Byron on it.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you put those side by side, it's the same exact car.
I still think it looks cool. I think it's going to be an awesome car to see. I'm looking to seeing some more of these Darlington throwbacks.
Yeah.
It's always a good...
they're slowly going to start trickling out.
Oh, I'm sure they are. That's one of the best weekends right there, especially leading up to it. Oh, what's this throwback going to look like? What's that throwback going to look like?
Yeah. And this is the biggest news of the weekend, Ryan, that you actually broke to me, I think, Friday.
Yep.
NASCAR will no longer have drivers start on qualifying tires.
And it's about time to even the field up. Especially, I think we mentioned it a little bit last week. We got into it very little bit last week on our re-recording live
I'm going
episode.
back through it now. Now I'm like, damn it, did we go over this now that I'm saying
it? We did, but we really didn't dive into it. It's going to give those teams, we can't do anything where it's not going to get us through inspection. Because you got to think here. If you're at a track where you can get a lot of cars past, stay on the lead lap before you go a lap down. Why not take that risk and be like, okay, we can fail at inspection, start on brand new tires, get back up in the field, and go from there.
I agree with you.
I think that's what these crew chiefs were trying to do.
It's kind of an unfair advantage.
Yes, it is.
Like we said, Johnson did it a lot this year, where we don't like the car, we're not happy with it, we're just going to run this one lap and that's it. No, now you don't have that advantage. Now everyone's level playing field. Now you can't... there needs to be... And I hate to say it this way because it's going to sound bad. I wish NASCAR would have a little give. You know what I'm saying?
Giveth and taketh away?
No, not quite. Let them bend the rules slightly. Because otherwise you're going to have the same cars on the track, same cars winning every weekend. Mix it up. Let these guys try some things. They did
also Kevin Harvick every week.
From like 2001 and beyond. Or prior. That's how it was. Look how many times Jeff Gordon had to go through that Daytona 500 inspection. If you ever watched that special on FS1.
Oh, I did watch that special. They went through it. How many times?
It was like 4 or 5 times they went through it, and they finally said, this is your last time. And they really didn't change anything on the car.
No, not at all.
But they would do things that would make, like, I think they said they put a piece of tape over the spoiler so they wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And it's like little things like that would give them passes. It made racing more interesting, but the past is the past. Here we are now.
That we are. And now NASCAR is, what's the word I'm looking for? Starts with an A and ends with an L. When it comes to their rules right now.
Moving on.
Tell me I'm wrong, because I don't think I am. I mean,
you're completely right with that. But like we've always been saying, Brian, it's how many times can we go through a season changing the rules in the middle of the season and basically starting from scratch with rules?
They're going to.
It's going to happen. We're not quite at Daytona yet, but those rule changes are coming, and we've already started with the tires and cracking down on the windshield braces.
Although
It's slowly
the
becoming it.
although the retired one is the best one they've made in a while.
Yeah, I agree. This needed to happen. This was
Yes,
stupid
it
when
did.
they implemented it a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Especially with the new qualifying format.
yeah.
Multiple times on track. I know there was a time, I think it was what was it? I think it was Kansas or something like that. Kozlowski went out like 4 or 5 times just to get into the, make the top 12, and it's like, then you're going to start on 5-lap old tires compared to a guy that didn't get through inspection on no-lap tires?
So, Ryan, now I'm curious.
Yep.
When qualifying happens, how many of these guys don't do the one-and-done laps? How many of these guys go around for the second, third, fourth lap? Now that they know that they don't have to start the race on those tires, especially in the final round.
I guarantee quite a bit. But see, the thing is, though, with the final round, though, it's only 5 minutes. They may take 2 laps. I think is what they may do instead of take a lap, go to pit, let the car cool down, get back out there, take another lap. I think they may do 2 laps.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see this Friday when the qualifying is.
Yeah, we'll know this weekend for sure how this is going to go, and we'll talk about it again next week. I think we'll bring it up again.
And how many cars are going to fail inspection? Over or under 4?
Under.
I'll go over.
All right, you take the over. I'll take the under. Ryan, what do you say we get?
Actually, I'll do it.
Social media.
I was going to do a tie.
You're going to do
All
it?
right, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to say that 4 right on the dot. Push.
Okay, so you're going to push it.
Yeah, I'm going to
Push
push it.
ourselves into some social media, Ryan.
Let's do it.
We have hit the 500 download mark. We're actually at 523 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. And another stat, Ryan, that was crazy from this. We're on our Podbean app, which is our host app for the podcast.
Yes, it is.
It shows you percentages of your downloads and how it's been fluctuating. We were up 42% when I was writing the show sheet today.
Really?
From last week. So we're on the rise a little bit. So
Yes,
thank you
we
to
are.
everyone who's got us so far to 500 downloads. My goal for the end of the season was 1,000. We're halfway there.
Yes, we should be all right.
I think we might be able to make it. We're gonna get there like just in the nick of time. I think we're gonna make it. We have 186 followers on Twitter. Don't forget our giveaway at 200. We are very close now. Very, very close. I think we might be able to hit it by next episode. We're at 58 likes on Facebook and 19 subscribers on YouTube. Some follower shoutouts this week.
Oh. Corky.
The followers are shouting at us, Ryan.
Yes, they are. They're corking at us.
Brady Westdyke at BWestdyke9. We have Van Harrell at TurboTest and Kathleen at KHI Fan. Our podcast shoutouts at Lap Traffic PC, at PTM Racing Podcast, at the My Opinion and Therefore Fact Podcast, at the All Turns No Breaks Podcast, who did that awesome NASCAR Talk Live on Twitter this week. We have the Bump and Run Podcast. We have Right Side is Only Radio, the Motor Mouse, and Creditcast. We have NASCAR Opinion, the Final Lap Weekly, and the EG3 Show. Places you can find us: iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, follow us, and set your notifications on so you'll be alerted every time we upload some new content by searching the Loose Lugs Podcast on those sites. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast, and you can tweet us about the show using the hashtag LugsPod. And on Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. Our personals, myself, Grey Goose F150 on Twitter, and Ryan.
R. Rancola 88.
And now we've hit the point in the show where Ryan does his weekly rant. Take it away, Ryan.
All right, AJ. As we all know, this weekend is, as a race fans say, the best time to be a race fan. You got the F1 race in the morning, 9:05 on ESPN. Awesome race to watch. Then you have the Danica Patrick 500, and I'm going to get into that here in a minute. And then also you have the Coca-Cola 600. one of my favorite IndyCar drivers. I have a couple of them. I like James Hinchcliffe. I like Alexander Rossi. Marco Andretti's pretty cool. And then the new kid, man. Anyways, going into this Indy 500, James Hinchcliffe did not make the Indy 500. After almost getting killed there 2 years ago, not making the field this year because Danica Patrick had to get into it. Oh, let's get in for Danica. Let's do it for Danica. Let's do it for Danica. Is it going to be our last race? I am so sick of it. Yeah, I know Hinch's car was absolute dog crap Saturday during qualifying. But honestly, she's not going to win the race. She's going to finish like 33rd. She's going to finish last. I'm telling you this right now. Trust me. She thinks it's NASCAR is easier. You remember the rant AJ had a couple weeks ago? This is ridiculous. These part-time people coming in. Granted, I know the Indy 500 is their biggest race. The Daytona 500 is our biggest race. But honestly, why not make it a 34, 35 car field at Indy? I know these cars fly around at 229 miles an hour sometimes with an average speed of 227, I thought it was, or faster than that for the pole. But honest, why? I don't know. It just may be their qualifying system at IndyCar. I don't know.
Damn, Ryan. I think you went off harder on that than you have on any NASCAR topic this season.
Yeah, well, because I just... I don't know. There's just... like last year watching the Indy 500 up at my soon-to-be mother and father-in-law's house in the Scott Dixon wreck. You remember seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Where he came up in the air and hit the inside of the wall?
Yeah.
Scary wreck. And now Danica, I can go back and drive IndyCar. I'm the greatest. You know what should have been her stinking sponsor this weekend? Mickey Mouse. Woo-hoo! Let's go. Woo-hoo!
You know what, though? I mean, William Byron is the new Danica Patrick.
No, he's not. He'll win a race this year. Once Hendrick pulls their stuff together and Darian Grubb stops taking 2 tires every week, guess what? He's going to win a race. That's another beef I have with... Byron's out. He took 2 tires. Of course he did. I told Sarah that during the All-Star race. Here comes Byron. He must have taken 2 tires. Race off pit road. Time. Tires, 2. Told you.
Oh, my gosh.
Just reminds me of... Oh, yes, I do. Reminds me of when my brother and Ryan Newman's old crew chief that he used to any of Newman's crew chiefs. Why are you taking 2 tires? Yeah, at the Phoenix race last year. Why you stay? Oh my God, he won! Yay! Well, don't complain until it happens. Something happens good. Has anything happened good when Byron's taking 2 tires this year? He's led for a couple laps. That's pretty cool. But
I think last time he took 2 tires, he ended up on top of Newman.
Yeah, he ended up on top of Newman. Maybe they should expand the field to the Indy 500, 34, 35 cars. See what happens. That's basically what it all boils down to. And now Hinch may not even win the championship now because of this. I think he's still far back in the distance, but still, it's ridiculous. Yes, and AJ, I got a question to ask you.
What's that?
You mentioned something earlier to us about the FedEx.
Just screw FedEx.
Explain. Come on, get into it.
All right, so just making it quick. Ordered a bunch of stuff off of Bass Pro's website. Getting ready for the fishing season in the summer. So rod, reel, lures, hooks, all that good stuff. And I come home to find a door tag on my door, and it was supposed to be delivered today. And the door tag doesn't say a time, doesn't have anything written on it. And they didn't even knock on the door. So I opened the door to see the door tag. The only thing that was filled out on it was where it says shipper needs signature on the little text box. It was already colored in. And then
really,
I call FedEx to ask them what's going on, and all they're telling me is, well, the driver says it was delivered. And I tell them, well, it ain't here. So, where is it?
Yeah, no
And they said,
kidding.
well, he said he left it at the door. I go, I'm at my door. It's not here. And so, they called back like an hour and a half later. Well, the driver says he left it at the door, and there's really, I mean, we can file a claim. I go, I walk outside. I go, yeah, you can file a claim. Wait a minute. So they left the package 20 to 30 feet away from the front door on the front porch.
Really?
And I go, well, I'm going to sound like an ass here, but I just found the package. My curiosity is why your delivery driver just left it 30 feet away from my front door. And then I look at the door tag. I make out the scribbles. It's an arrow pointing to where the package is.
Are you serious?
So, my question is, how freaking hard is it to leave 2 boxes at the front door? And not
Apparently for this,
not put me in a panic with a door tag with an arrow on it.
does your dog bark a lot?
No, my dog's in a cage. It doesn't even run
Okay,
the door.
then. All right, that takes care of that problem. Second of all, don't they have a tracking number on there that you could call to see where your package
They
is?
did, but it said delivered, and that's why I was like, and it wasn't even like it was in plain view on the front porch. It was up against the wall, like on the ground up against the wall. So I would never have seen it because it's behind tables and chairs and all that.
I gotta try to get a visualization of your porch here and figure out where your front door is compared to where he put it.
So front door is here.
Okay.
Front porch is here.
Oh, so you have a screened-in porch, is what you're saying?
No, it's not screened in.
It's not screened in.
It's covered
Right.
by the roof, though. The roof covers it.
Oh, all right.
And it's like a little circular area, and table, chairs, all that good stuff, fireplace. And it's behind the table and chairs, just leaned up against the wall.
Nice.
And then there's more. Go inside to open up the fishing pole because it's in an 8'2" box. To notice that the top eyelet part of the rod has been snapped off.
Nice.
So now I have to wait another week to get all my stuff together, and I'm getting irritated by the second.
Sounds like it.
So screw FedEx right now.
I normally ship through UPS. When you sent that the car I had for you signed, I think it was what was that, Stenhouse?
The
Or was
Mark
it,
one? But yeah, I sent that.
Oh, the
UPS.
Mark. Yeah, you sent. There was no problems with it. I sent it back to you. Was there any problems with it? Nope. Unreal.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
But let's get to the white flag, Ryan. We have rambled on this entire show.
We have.
Let's get into some predictions for this weekend.
Ooh, let's do it.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only 2.
So we have a little special edition of the white flag this week. Instead of going over our normal NASCAR predictions for the weekend, we're also going to go over the Grand Prix of Monaco and the Indy 500. Ryan, who is your Monaco Grand Prix pick?
It's a big shocker, but Lewis Hamilton.
Oh wow! You're really taking from the hot take department.
I went on the edge on that one.
I'm taking Daniel Ricciardo
Very good pick.
for the Indy 500.
It was between Hamilton and Vettel. I mean, it just
Sticking with Red Bull Racing though, with Vettel.
yeah.
Isn't Vettel still Red Bull?
Yeah, I think he is.
For the Indy 500, I am taking. You already know. I'm taking Alexander Rossi. You know.
Yeah, I figured you were going to take. He's starting deep in the field too.
He'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine once this race starts. I think. So, I am going to go
with Danica.
with Haley. Do I have a full head of hair?
Yes.
No. I'm going with the guy who should still be running in this series full time to win the Indianapolis 500, and that is Helio Castroneves.
Good pick.
he should be still running in the series. And if I had a dark horse, it's going to be Robert Wickens is the kid I like. He's from Canada, eh?
I'm going to take Danica as my sleeper. And that's an honest pick.
Right?
I would take her as my sleeper.
Really?
Yep.
All right. So what do we got next? The Xfinity Series?
The Xfinity Series. Ryan, who are you taking?
Let's go with... Oh, man, I'm having a brain fart right now. Let's go with Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick. I'm going to stick it with a Chevy.
Yeah.
I'm breaking the rules this week, though.
You're going Chase Elliott.
I'm going Chase Elliott this week. And if he doesn't win this week, I will never pick him again for any other series besides Cup Series.
Is he the only Cup driver in this field?
I would let you know, but I left my entry list at work.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So I had to remake the entire show sheet today because I forgot
nice.
all my paperwork.
Nice.
And for the Cup Series, Ryan.
Go ahead. You go first.
I'm taking Kevin Harvick. I think it's the safest pick right now.
All right. And who's your dark horse?
My dark horse is the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
All right. I figured you were going to go that route. You know what? I'm going to take another Stewart Haas car. I'm going to go the 41 of Kurt Busch to win the race.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
All the Stewart Haas cars have been fast this year. And my dark horse will be Chase Elliott.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I'm getting so tired of just...
waiting for that win?
Yeah. I'm tired of waiting. It's been like 3 years since I've seen my driver in victory lane. I want to see it again. Should be a good weekend, though. It's going to be a day full of racing. So
Junior in victory lane. I've seen that twice, which was awesome.
I've seen it once.
Jeff's very first race was Junior's first one, and I'm like, Jeff, you're coming to every single race from here on out. That mojo it worked one other time, but still, it was so cool to see him win in person. Plus, I've seen Mark Martin win in person.
It should be a fun weekend.
It should be.
Monaco, if you wake up early enough, well, credit to you. I usually catch like the last 3 laps.
Yeah, I love the. I'll get into Monaco here for a minute. I love the layout of the track, different elevation, but there's nowhere to pass.
No, there is nowhere to pass. You're right.
The only place you see to really is to pass is that bridge, when they go underneath the tunnel there.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's like the only where to pass.
Yeah.
And then Indy is going to be Indy. It should be an exciting race, as always. And then the 600 is the endurance test.
Yeah, it is, and it's always a fuel mileage gamble at the end.
Yes, it is. Ask Austin Dillon that last year.
Yeah, tell Junior that a couple years before that.
Wasn't
that crazy? That was the Indy 500 where, what was it, Newgarden?
Yeah, Newgarden.
In the National Guard car.
Yep.
And then later on the same night, Dale Jr. on the last lap runs out of gas.
Yep.
In the National Guard car.
Yeah. Dan Weldon won that race, by the way, where Newgarden, when he was in the National Guard car, hit the wall. And then Junior runs out at the 600.
Just a bad day for the National Guard.
Yes, it was. And on a day, too, we salute the military.
Yeah, nonetheless.
Yep.
So, Ryan, what do you say we take this thing home? Let's hit him with it, Ryan.
Let's do it. Guys, hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy your long weekend if you get one. Happy Memorial Day to all the veterans out there who serve our great country. We will see you guys at the races.
Thank you to everyone who participated tonight in the chat. Even if you didn't, thank you for tuning in. Patrick, Tony, and Ryan and myself, we appreciate everyone coming in. We hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the racing. And like Ryan said, we'll see you at the track.
And you never make them back. I can feel that cheering for the world that not make sense. You can feel what I need now that you're here. There's nothing to fear along the way. There's nothing I could say. Nothing I could say.